Okay, so let's have an experiment of the steps of the inquirer or the self-inquiring in a very specific topic on the concept. When I throw at you and say, well, in your flesh, in your matter, is where you carry your concepts, your belief, and your values. And if we, for a moment, say question or make the inquire, well, what is she talking about? If I don't understand anything that she have said, because I have made my own assumptions about, and this is an important part of the inquire. Number one is realize that everything you know is an assumption. So you're saying, you're receiving the information, okay, concepts, belief system, and values. But do you know what really concept is? Have you questioned that? What is it? What is a concept? What is the relationship between concept and belief system? What the belief system make me think? Where are my concepts? Can I give myself one concept? Can I grasp one concept that is real for me? You know, not the concept that, oh, life is beautiful.
Can I say I'm here in the flesh?
But do you know that for sure?
Do we know anything for sure?
Right? Do you know that? So that part of the challenging your assumption is one of the first stages of the inquiry. That is say that I don't know anything. I don't know anything. But you cannot stay in that because you want to know what is a concept in this example. You want to keep growing. So that's when the second stage of your self-inquiry come forward and say, I have to raise my frequency in order to get the definition or the amplitude of the definition that I'm working on it. Because your concept or your self-inquiring, let's see, that you receive from you, the answers that you receive are in perfect alignment with the frequency that you vibrate. If you are vibrating lower, you are going to perceive that particular inquiring will give you just certain scope. The frequency, if you have more scope, then you will have an eagle view of what concept is. How you raise your concept, your frequency. That's another question of the inquiry. Okay, I'm realizing it's a guide. How do I do that? Then you have to use your own resources that you have experienced, how you raise your frequency. Because some of you are more raising the frequency by reading knowledge or being close to the teacher or doing yoga or doing practices or keeping in silence. Or what works for you to raise the frequency. Usually it's a combination of things because all parts of you have to raise the frequency. The body have to raise the frequency, the emotions have to raise the frequency, the earth bodies have to raise the frequency. Then what that means that is they become quiet. Earth bodies become quiet. then the pure transmission of that question to the universe, it will reveal itself. And that's a key word, revelation. Revelation. It will appear to you. That in a period of time where you need patience, because the answers won't come immediately, coming from that source of self-inquiry. Coming, if you are self-inquiring the nature of yourself, it won't come at the speed of the mind or at the frequency of the mind. It'll come stimulated by something. Somehow it reveals itself. Revelation.
So is it almost like it comes through the body as opposed to coming into the mind?
Yeah, it's not a mind thing. It's a result of perception of your frequency. Your frequency perceived and is revealed to you. And what is revealed, you have to keep it very secretly. Even if it's just it's something simple, but you have to keep it. You don't go and, number one, assume that that's the end. Number two, you share. You don't share that revelation. You share it later, but you don't share it immediately, unless it's with somebody who have a higher frequency than you. So it gets stimulated. That's what we do in our one-on-one. You present to me a frequency, we feed it, we exchange it, you grow. Okay, that's what it's called. But you present to me a frequency. If you talk to somebody, get distorted, you get lost. That precious revelation come polluted with other frequencies. They don't get it. Not because they're stupid, but because they're not vibrating in the frequency that you have cultivated. So you keep that. You don't share that. Why? Because if you are keeping on working on that, something else and deeper will unfold. And it will never end. But that little inquiry, that little energy, that little template is the one that it will go all the way through your bodies to certain state of illumination. So that particular part of yourself gets free. And then another inquirer also have that, and goes on. That's why he says that self-inquiry is one of the most powerful tools to reveal itself, to get free. But you need to know this, what to ask, when to ask, and what is required from you to ask. I see you often get trapped into, why me? Why am I manifesting these things? What that means? Wrong questions. Wrong questions. Notice that when we are inquiring, let's say we're inquiring about concepts, the self is not present. I'm not inquiring why I'm having concepts. I'm inquiring what is concepts? Where they come from? How I am in front of this? So I get involved, but not with a persona. I get involved with the frequency. And that is the key of inquiring, to be successful in inquiring. Don't leave yourself alone. Just don't get involved and you inquire. Don't ask about you, because you will end up answering for a frequency of personas and personalities. You will end up judging and you will end up in duality. Leave yourself in peace. Now I am crossing my language. Inquire about knowledge. Don't make it personal. That's when the mind get engaged in certain topic of concept. Concept. What is it? What is it? Where it come from? And then I'm cooking and something says, boom, get revealed. They might share it. But it's not personal. Then that organ of inquirement get exercise.
Can you give an example?
What is concept?
And what is my personal concept? No, just what is concept?
What is concept? How do you know your personal concept if you don't even know what concept is? That's why if you honestly, in this moment, if I ask you, give me one example of a concept of you, your mind will, it's not clear, isn't it?
No,
It's
it
not.
scrambles for a
It's,
structure.
it's scrambled a little bit on why? Because you don't have the knowledge of what concept is.
Mm.
It's like entering into a room and I say, can you please bring me my document of about self-esteem. You never have seen it. You go there and you start looking everywhere. But if you have seen it, how that folder look like, you would just go immediately, you will distinguish and grab it. Same thing, a value, a concept. That's why our discussions and meditation and satsang is that, to make you smart. So how to direct your intelligence into no personal questions, into knowledge.
That's similar to the koan, right?
Similar to
To the what they call a koan or kon, who am I, or what is love, or those.
I have no idea, never know, but and that's the other thing. It's not about what like what is love, for example, or what is something that you have some kind of relationship. it's more like it's almost like a prayer where you are bowing down the head, and you say, "Our life, you have to tell me what concept is. I'm really passionate about it. I really want to know. Tell me. I'll do a little diet. I'll meditate a little bit more. Then may raise the frequency and yes, give it to you." Because the self-inquiry is not really with the mind.
That's the thing about those questions. You can't really answer them with the mind.
No, you cannot answer with the mind. You only can receive the revelation through raising the frequency. Otherwise, it becomes like you can, a book full of theories and dictionaries and science definitions, and it's very useless. But until it doesn't become like a real taste in your mouth of, that's what it is. Aha. And then you go, this is what I'm doing. Then it becomes personal, but from a complete different perspective. Does this make sense? All of you have that experience. I know all of you have that experience. But you need to follow how you have get there, so you can stimulate yourself in the inquiring steady, because it is a muscle. You do it over and over and over and over and over and over. And I tell you, life will answer you.
Could we do the same, maybe how did you said, in the same way with shame, guilty, what it is?
No, because that doesn't exist.
And concept exists.
Guilt doesn't exist. Fear doesn't exist. So it won't reveal the juice.
Okay.
You will get trapped into the personality. That is a personal question. Why I'm guilty?
Okay.
But what about what is guilt? That's different than why.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
different. That's different. What is fear, for example? What is fear? If that's the persona of the fear, then immediately come the detachment. Oof. You have to see it. That's why it cannot be in the persona. Why I am chuk chuk. No, that's no good. It's a waste of energy. What is better than why? Where? Pointless. How? Pointless. Where means where it come from, where I come from, where I am coming from. And any answer I'm giving myself right now is an assumption. And I wait. And I keep the question. And I ask again. I attract that frequency. And it becomes like a sacred thing. That's why I say don't share it. Because it becomes like you're collecting every breath that you are prayerfully and humbly cultivating that question. Then it comes and it adds up. Then it flourishes. It blossoms.
Didn't you say it comes in icons at times too?
Can come in any ways, but becomes as a form of, I know. It becomes as a, it's an aha. It's a pure clarity of what you're doing, where you are. It links things. So the inquirer have to have a little bit of patience, have to do some sacrifices to raise the frequency. The inquirer need consistency in approaching the same topic. I do this often, I throw at you to say, okay, this semester we're going to study the subconscious. But how much do you carry that? How much do you wait for me to tell you? And how much you, what is it? Because the frequency is there. The frequency is stimulating you, the courses and everything is stimulating you to reveal the frequency, or the frequency revealed to you, what is it? On your own things. Then we get together and say, I found this and I found this. Oh, yeah, okay. Because remember, one topic also have 108 diamonds around. So the inquirer have to remove themselves from themselves to make the pure question or answer arise. And how do you know that you have received it? Because there's certain silence that appears or comes. If the question is proper, it creates silence. Calm. If the answer is improper, it creates more questions. You have certain repose. Okay. This makes sense?
Yeah.
So let's have an example of concepts. We are studying that. So what do you think it is? What do you know? If you have to verbalize what you know, which already we're saying is an assumption, what is the first thing that comes into your mind? After that period of, I don't really know, but I can try to make something up. So if you have to make something up about a concept, what is it?
It's a container.
It's a container.
It's a group of information.
A group of information. I like better the container because the group of information is more like the belief.
Mm-hmm. It shape the
Yeah.
way that we live, the way that we perceive, the way that interpret.
Yeah. So it's the shaper, it's the container. It's like the outside of the glass.
Mm-hmm.
The glass itself, the beliefs, the water, the content,
The belief is water. Okay.
and the value is, this is a cup of tea. It's a good tea. or it's a bad tea is served for offering in meditation or have friendships come over. But why the concept arise on the first place? Why we need the shaping? Why we adopt the shaping?
We need to provide a structure.
Why we need the structure?
To make sense.
To make
understand
sense.
the world.
Why we need it to make sense?
To feel safe.
Yeah.
feel
To
that
make
we're
sense, to feel safe, to be,
To
yeah.
say, because
Also
we
from-
fear the immensity.
Yes.
If there's no shape, we need to. The mind wants to put it in if it's no sense and no structure, it's sort of like overwhelming. So we
Yeah.
need to like have pieces.
And why in some areas of your life you have concepts and in other ones you don't?
Haha.
And why some parts you need shapes and in other parts you don't?
It's the way that where we are free and where we're not free, where we are safe by itself and where we still need a repère externe.
All concepts arise when you have not finished a mental faculty of understanding your reality. So any concept that is built, you are trying to understand, you're trying to feel safe, you're trying to contain yourself because it's something in your head, in your mind that have not finished the gestalt. They have not finished the complete assimilation of vastness.
Of us.
So, for example, we have a concept of us. I am a woman, I am a teacher, I am a good teacher, I am this, I am that. It's because in that role, I have not finished my whole entire knowledge of myself. So I create something to keep me understanding, to keep me safe, to keep me trying to finish something that I have not understood totally.
But it's a trap.
Yeah, we're seeing that the concept is a passage of the seeker. You need to know the concepts to pass through.
So it serves a purpose. It's there for a reason.
What is then the empowerment? What is the empowerment when you pass through?
You
When you-
realize that you're none of those concepts at all.
Yeah, but then what it will be the empowerment? What it will be the statement then under the concept?
I have no limit.
I'm not definable.
I am not definable, I'm not limited, I'm fearless, I don't need safety,
I'm free.
I'm free. Will you do that as an affirmation? No. But you are questioning. Okay. What is then my unfinished thought process? You know, as a teacher, I have found that, for example, a person who have been abused as a children, or I have nothing against gays, but a lot of gays, especially women gay, have a lot of concepts, a lot of woman should not be this, it should be there, and I cannot get touched by this person, and I only will work with women, and all this kind of concept, because in their head they have not finished assimilating their experience. It was too much as a child. They could not assimilate totally. So they brained concepts to justify, to feel okay. But once we start removing those concepts, they get in power in the area that we're trying to finish in their head. So, I don't need to be really a lesbian to defend my rights or to speak up and so on.
Assert a sense of boundaries.
Yeah. Right? So when I offer them the space to finish the Gestalt, because I understand that behind each concept is something that they have not understood or something they have not assimilated. And slowly, their the container drops. First I challenge the values, then I empty the cup, then I drop the cup.
Then you what? Drop the cup.
Drop the cup. Now, with this new light, will you be able to relate better, to say, what is it that I am not finished? It's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have a much more clear, so, okay, well, those are the areas. Yeah, what are the things that I have not really digest, that I'm still processing? Oh, I'm processing that I'm beautiful, I'm processing that I'm safe, I'm processing that. You have a much more concrete way of grasping the concept. Isn't it?
You mean seeing it clearly?
Seeing it more clearly. But if you jump, there's a concept, belief system and values, it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Another mental construct.
Another mental
Yes.
And then
construct.
another concept, really.
Then a definition.
Yes. So that's why when we are embarking in certain studies, we need to keep the inquirer sharp and understand how it works. Otherwise, you're not gonna be in the operation table. You're gonna be reading about it, but you won't be in the operation table where all these teachings actually make surgery in your structure. You have to keep certain relationship with the inquirer, with your own personal inquirer. Because I can give you the teachings, but if you don't inquire, if you don't process, it becomes a container, it becomes a concept, another trap. So I better don't say anything, because I don't want you to get trapped in concepts. Right? Because then the teachings become an entrapment. Nice, uplifting, but it become a concept. Then you're trapped. That's why many of my efforts is never to marry to any particular thing. When you think you know everything, I pull the carpet under. Just to keep you free. Otherwise you get, oh no, I should dress in white and do my things and do that. No, shh, out. No concepts. But you need the own personal inquiry to finish the Gestalt, to finish your assimilation. If this makes sense, that's your responsibility. Now, why specifically this teaching now in relationship to the subconscious is because you cannot enter the material of the subconscious without you self-enquire. You have to learn to wait, you have to learn the question, you have to learn to raise the frequency, you need to learn to keep it, you need to learn to mature it with all the different teachings, and you need to let it flourish. Then we become aha. That's the way to navigate in the soul bodies. You don't navigate with your head. The mind body is just far in the earth body. Life reveals itself the same way as when you cut yourself and the wound closes and you don't understand why. But life has its own intelligence, and you do have that intelligence. When you exercise self-inquiring, you exercise the intelligence of life, not the intelligence of your head, of your mental processes. That's the way to navigate through the subconscious. It's like dreams. Do you understand dreams? You don't. Does it have a value on it? Does it have a value on it?
Yes.
They do. Right? So I give you clues, and I will give you clues, but you need to keep your self-inquiry with these parameters. And if a concept arises, then you know that you have not understood or processed the whole piece. If you feel stuck, say, you have to repeat the same exact thing. Something you have not understood. Then the Gestalt come back. Not because you're bad, but because your inquiring is not at the frequency that it needs in order to understand the lesson.
Can I say, what am I not assimilating?
That's your own inquiry. What is it
am I
I'm not?
missing?
You don't ask the missing part.
Missing.
Yeah, you don't ask what I am missing,
What am I seeing?
what I'm seeing. Then you have the black, the white, this and that, and you keep it. You are in your way of digesting things. That's why I say to you, wait, don't rush. Don't think that you need to be someplace else doing something else. You just need to assimilate your life on your own pace, on your own understanding, but you cannot drop it. You have to have the consistency until all the assimilation comes in. Right?
Every thought that comes, I can say, what does it mean?
No, don't be
much.
too much, because you're not dealing with the mind. You're dealing with your own contract, with your own destiny. So what I'm trying to tell myself here is more appropriate.
What is this? What am I telling myself?
Yeah, and it's not something that you don't know, because I have repeated this to you many times. But you need to assimilate it. You need to go, oh, okay, this is how it tastes. Right? And that's the key to change. You cannot change if one lesson is not assimilated. You cannot skip the, how do you say, peregrina? You cannot skip.
The pilgrimage.
No,
Like it.
you cannot. No, the peregrina. You
Progression.
know those
You
things.
can't jump over.
Yeah, you
Yes,
cannot
yes,
jump. You cannot
Can't
jump
jump
over. You cannot cheat life. You cannot jump over.
You can't skip the lesson.
You cannot skip the squares of the lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
cannot.
like a game, a board game.
Or you have to go back and redo it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Down
that
the
is
snake
part
ladder.
of the interfaces.
Pardon me?
That's part of the interfaces.
And when you say that, what is that?
Self-enquiry.
The self-inquiry itself,
No, the steps.
the steps is
The steps. Each lesson have a step that you need to go in the structure.
Can we questioning the thing about body, like what is the rigidity?
In your body?
Yeah, what is this pain?
Is that a question giving us space and point of view?
The body is like the universe. So to ask the body is more about receptivity and revelation. It will never give you the answers in English or French. Well, you work with it. You touch and you receive the images or you hear.
Mm-hmm.
But it reveals. You have to wait.
Yeah.
You have to wait. And that's what you can meditate on it. You say, oh, the rigidity. Oh, it's okay. I wait. I place my awareness in it, my full presence, and I wait. It's always the truth come as a revelation, not as a mind concept. Because the concept then it becomes the container, the shaper. So for your next class, we are working on this concept, belief system, and values. I have give you some foundation. I want questions now. Then I can see where is the frequency you're hitting. With that frequency, say, okay, it's like the child who says, Mom, why the sky is blue? You know what frequency is hidden in that question. Or when a student comes and says, well, I have a problem. So what is your problem? My husband is very mean to me. Then you know that this person is not responsible. He's putting all the responsibility in the poor husband. Then you know what kind of frequency that person is conceptualizing her reality. Then we raise the frequency when she starts assimilating the lesson in another perception. Then she goes, okay. Then that concept is dropped. That belief system drops. That value drops. A shock? Yes. Because it's a free fall. Okay? So that would be your homework for next week. Bring me questions about concepts, belief system, and values before we go into the other topic of the interfaces of Earth, which is another next week, I think we have.
So questions about specific concepts or about the revelation?
Sky's the
Sky
limit.
is
Sky's the
open.
limit. Oh, because they will come.
So how do you know its value? Because the question will bring a revelation that will make you calm and silent. If the question is not at the frequency, it will bring more questions. That's the law of the game.
You're doing Shaw tomorrow night in Wakefield, I understand?